manipulation des forêts. Il faudrait qu'on la redistribution des terres, qu'on leur attribue leur espace. Ils mangent là, ils dorment là, ils ont leur culte pour les lieux. C'est là-dedans, dans la forêt. Ils vont aller où? Ils ne connaissent pas un autre mode de vie.
Cette partie-là, c'est la zone HVC. C'est cette partie de forêt. Quelque part derrière, il y a la palmeraie.
We're here in Gabon for the third dialogue on Understanding Deforestation-Free. Today we're in what's called an HCV, or High Conservation Value Forest. This has been set aside by Olam Company as an area where conservation values are high enough that it's been preserved from planting for oil palm. So one of the paramount questions that we're exploring here is a simple one. What does deforestation mean? Everybody has their own definition, and unless everybody agrees on a definition, how can you commit to removing deforestation or becoming deforestation-free?
Il y a nos écosystèmes forestiers à préserver, il y a notre biodiversité à préserver, mais il y a derrière que nous devons créer de l'emploi, nous devons créer de la richesse. Nous serons obligés, et nous avons dans le plan de relance de l'économie prévu de faire des cultures de rente, c'est-à-dire le palmier à huile, le cacao, le café. Et donc il faut trouver le juste équilibre entre zéro déforestation et la préservation des ressources qui sont les nôtres.
There is a lot of interest to discuss what forests are, what deforestation is, what net deforestation is, what gross deforestation is. So there's a lot of technical terms that are being thrown around that have potentially massive implications. We're talking a lot here about site selection tools. We talk a lot about what thresholds are in terms of conservation values or in terms of carbon storage, and what the right processes would be for agreeing with communities and local stakeholders on the kinds of forests that can be cleared to give way for agricultural investments.
Nous allons voir des zones plantées déjà, en savane. Nous pourrons également voir la pépinière également. Et cette pépinière-là est aussi en zone de savane.
Most often, private companies implement the FPIC, but this is not really the whole process because the government already chose the area where the concession will be established. So for me, this should start by government consultation prior to allocation of the concession.
Part of the problem of solving deforestation is the question of land tenure. So in many places, the fundamental prerequisite to stabilising land use and having kind of concentration of highly productive areas aside next to protected areas is getting the land tenure clear. Who has the right to use the land and who benefits from the use of that land?
Nous avons pu inviter les experts internationaux du Gabon, du monde entier, mais où sont les représentants villageois? Où sont les chefs de regroupement? Où sont les autorités locales? Elles sont concernées. Nous allons parler d'un concept. Nous allons prendre des décisions. Nous allons prendre des orientations qui vont forcément les impliquer et changer leur cours de vie, et changer leur droit d'usage.
Nobody's ever mapped out systematically what you might call the land claims of our rural communities. Over the next 5 years, we're going to be refining and optimizing our national land use plan that will integrate principles that will define where you can and where you can't do different activities, whether it's forestry or agriculture or mining or other activities.
Gabon is quite a unique example in a lot of ways of the high forest cover and low population density, which means that it's still relatively intact in terms of natural ecosystems. In terms of how you can sort of go beyond HCV protection and ensuring or minimizing deforestation, I think there is a need for some novel thinking in the Central African context, particularly where there's a demand and an interest domestically in developing their agricultural economies and providing jobs.
I don't think that they have to deforest much more to develop. I think we could think about a completely different models that brings business to rural areas, but without cutting down a lot of trees. I'm thinking about ecotourism, I'm thinking about sustainable agriculture.
For me, what I've learned so far from talking to all of the different participants and being able to exchange and engage with the different Gabonese ministry officials in particular is the complexity of applying tools and instruments that were essentially designed for a very different context in Gabon. And for the accountability framework in particular, this is really important because we want to be able to remove the ambiguity that currently exists in between what types of tools and different systems should be used and applied, and to accelerate progress towards implementation of deforestation-free supply chain commitments.
Vous avez la société civile, vous avez le gouvernement, vous avez le privé. Vraiment, ces trois parties, chacun cherche pour l'instant à sécuriser, j'ai envie de dire, ses positions pour essayer de pouvoir influencer le processus pour adresser sur la déforestation. Mais globalement, il y a les consensus sur les actions à mener, les actions qu'il faut amener et qui permettront d'arriver à cela.